up, Toronto. It's 5:19 a.m. on Wednesday, April 21st, 2020. I'm your host, Miss Bollywood. Let's hit you up with the forecast for today, shall we? Currently, it's -3 degrees, but we'll be warming up to a high of 6 before dropping back down to about -2 degrees tonight. We will be getting a few clouds with sunny breaks in between, so that's not bad. But let's hope it's nothing like yesterday with scattered showers mixed with light snow and hail. Like, I swear the animals are getting majorly confused right now. This past weekend, I've gone above and beyond in being productive. I've listened to my OCD of creating checklists, and I would go to the extreme of having like colored papers and pens and highlighters and all that good stuff to like be organized. But to add to that, I finally followed through with completing all the assigned tasks for the day. It's shocking, I know. I mean, I'm notorious for almost reaching the end, but then putting the last couple to-do things off for the next day. And to be honest, never quite getting around to it until many weeks later. The root cause of it could be the procrastination aspect mixed in with a little tiredness, but hey, is it ever too late to learn from those mistakes and try again? Of course not. This month alone, I've just tried to be extra focused and squeezed in not just me time to be creative, but to also spend quality time with my family and do some wedding planning without being super exhausted midway through. I guess it's because I was super determined to be disciplined and to not give up, or the sheer curiosity if I could keep it going and for how long. So maybe I was challenging myself in a way, and guess what? It actually worked. I started off with keeping a promise, which I probably, you guys heard last week on Wake Up Toronto, for being fascinated by the new app TikTok. And I was contemplating to sign up for it. And then one thing led to another. And bam! I'm proud to say I posted my very first TikTok. Can you believe it? I had to pay homage to my alter ego, of course, Miss Bollywood, and chose a melodramatic moment from the king of Bollywood cinema and worldwide heartthrob, Shah Rukh Khan. I may have not nailed the dialogue quite as well as he did from one of his popular films, I think from the earlier 2000s, but I did manage to cry on cue without even rehearsing it. And from the point of view of a not so professional actor, I thought it was kind of cool. And to be honest, playing it back, it fit in at the perfect time. I'm proud of that. Whatever, judge all you want. If you haven't seen it, just do so and give me some pointers on how I can do even better for next time. If you're not following me on TikTok, you can. It's at Susanna_Sheetal_D. I've only recorded and shared 2 videos, but I'm sure there'll be many others in the weeks to come. It's legitly highly addicting. I kid you not. Since we're on this note of keeping productive, I've also started to do weekly vlogs. Let's hope, fingers are crossed, I can keep up with it. So far, I could think of dedicating Wednesdays to Wedding Wednesdays, where I update you all on my journey of planning out Av and my special day with stories and like other interesting stuff that many of you couples or soon-to-be brides might be wondering about. So it's in a way collabing with you guys, exchanging insights and experiences. I think it's going to be fun. And gradually, I guess I'll build on and add daily vlogs, seeing how much time I have. And you have to start off somewhere. You can't just right off from the beginning be like, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this for this amount of time and go for it. Some people are able to do that, but I have to like build up and commit to something and to be able to continue on with it. But again, that's just me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. The first Wedding Wednesday should be up next week, which is I think April the 29th. Yes, it also falls on the same day as Wake Up Toronto meets Wise Wednesday podcast. So it's either a double treat for you all or an annoying overload of notification posts. I apologize in advance for that though. It's going to be a pretty busy schedule I've got going on, but I'd rather have a lot going on than nothing at all, especially during this time where social distancing can cause all kinds of emotions to arise and mental illnesses to kick in, like depression and suicidal thoughts, so on and so forth. So I guess this is my way of trying to find the good in situations, and I hope you all can too spend the time we have right now exploring and living the best life we can by doing what's on our minds and whatever our heart desires. So to get ahead, if there's a book you want to read, just go for it. If there's a recipe that you've always wanted to try, what are you waiting for? In fact, I recorded a new video for my YouTube main channel that I asked my fiance Av to appear on, which will be uploaded and go live this Friday, April 24th, in lieu of our 10th friendiversary. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is that? And I do have a lot of people raising their eyebrows and asking me from time to time why I call it friendiversary, and it happens every year. They tell me, why not anniversary? And no, it's not that he's friend zoned, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be getting married next year. So basically, to break it down, Av and I have been friends first. When we actually started dating, it ended up being coincidental the same month as when we had first met. So every year we celebrate our friendship as well as our relationship. Regardless of the different relationship changes in our life, from dating to now fiance and husband to be, our best friend title is always present in every relationship, and I think is the strongest out of the three. So for those of you shaming me by saying you should follow the societal labels of calling him your fiance or husband, my question is, did you end up with your best friend or get as far as to marry them? If you haven't, well, it's rare that people do. It's not to sound rude, but most people won't understand that vibe until they experience it for themselves. I mean, what about people who refer to their special person as my partner or significant other? Like, I'm not always about putting labels on absolutely everything to, in fact, meet the standards of what others expect me to be or do, Not to say I haven't before, but that's a whole other story for another day. In short, my life, my choices, right? And your life, your choices. I was not anticipating the conversation to take a turn like this, but I guess it was on my mind for some time. Plus, freedom of speech, okay? If anyone tries to control what you say, it's kind of not right. You could reply back to them, but I don't know if you guys have used this line, but you're infringing on my rights and freedoms according to our Canadian charter, and that's not cool beans with me. So that's a good one to use. I have in the past. So back to the video. Av and I created one around never have I ever questions, and it definitely got interesting and a little weird. Keep it locked for that video. I do have a feeling or intuition like some more future videos will have Av being featured because it's so much fun with him around, I'm going to stop complimenting him though, because I'm sure his ego is sky high right now. Speaking of egos, do you guys like that segue? Let's move on to the Wise Wednesday quote, okay? Let me just clear my throat. All right, I'm ready. There should be warning labels saying, egos can be destructive. Use to your discretion. Okay, I find this to be straight truth. I've met and known people who feed off of things like their statuses in their career, their fortune, their caste system, education, etc., etc. These individuals, rely a great deal on these aspects of their lives and use those accomplishments to their advantage instead of being humble about it. Not to say that I haven't dipped my toes and sinned. I'm sure we all have at some point. But I've realized in that moment I had done it and corrected it. And I'm sure you guys are like, Susanna, spill the tea. Come on, I want to know what your situation was like. Basically, here's the backstory. It involved someone I cared for and loved a lot, a family member to say the least. And so I'd got into a disagreement, and I can't remember what it was, but I decided I wanted to win the conversation by saying that my job was better than theirs. I was not thinking how my words would hurt them and to what degree. As quickly as those words came out of my mouth, I regretted it. A few days later, with great humiliation, I spoke to the person and apologized. Deep down, I knew that the person worked hard and they had a big and wonderful heart. From then on, I practiced to control the ego, to not give it that attention, energy, and hospitable environment for it to feed, thrive, and survive on. It was difficult, but I do think what the problem is that we have a tendency to give our egos the floor to act and be whatever way we want to maintain a respectable demeanor in public. And we also, to add on to that, is mistake being egotistical with confidence. That is why often I'm able to see the difference between someone who lights up the room with their spirit, their natural confidence, as opposed to others who use their accolades and connections. Those people come across as insincere and fake, kind of like a counterfeit Chanel bag or like an inauthentic plate of butter chicken claiming to be the real deal served at your local Jack Astor's restaurant. Okay, I know the last comparison was a really bad joke, but I was dying to share it, okay? Now, as people, we can try to be mindful of whom we're showing off to and maybe try to first think of how grateful we are and blessed, rather than making it seem like you are entitled to be treated better or in fact are superior to others. We are humans nonetheless. We all have fears. We all experience happiness. We all cry and feel pain. A wealthy person will bleed just the same as a poorer, less fortunate person. And mind you, you haven't been appointed as an official, nor do you have that power to remind people of the things that they lack or to make them feel less of themselves. It's a tough lesson, especially with social media platforms today. People try to portray a certain image. They build an audience and have this obsession of just being liked. Think about it. If we took an egotistical person's money, fame, education, contacts, stripped it all away from them, what would they have to brag about? Would they be able to hold the same confidence they did when they had all those things? Would they be able to work the room like they used to? Will they be continued to be disliked by others? Would they be able to handle being talked down to and criticized by their wealthy and egotistical friends? Would they finally realize that none of what they previously were matters and that we should all be treated equally? Would they change their ways? Does someone have to lose everything to finally appreciate what they had? Or will they forever remain bitter and keep that ego alive? So many different scenarios that you could, play out, but ultimately, why should we wait until we get to that point? Why can't that change and effort manifest and we try to make that progress? I can't give you the answer, but I know that all we can do is try, maybe through things like meditation, writing exercises, talking to a professional like a therapist, maybe even a close family member or friend. Doing whatever it is to initiate that, which is comfortable and works for you. So, yeah, that's my little 2 cents on this week's Wise Wednesday. And so, having said that, it is a wrap on today's Wake Up Toronto Meets Wise Wednesday podcast. I'm hoping and praying for everyone out there, from all the essential workers, doctors, nurses, environmentalists, small businesses, first responders, and those who have lost loved ones, those on the path to recovery, and those who are listening and staying home. I'm maintaining positivity and, looking forward that this lockdown will soon be lifted and our lives go back to normal so we can enjoy the upcoming summer. But, for that to happen, we must do our part. I want you all to stay safe, eat well, and be happy. I'll talk to you guys next week. Much love from me to you. Mwah. Miss Bollywoood. Out.